Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Wave Impact Voice. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting you live once again from my hometown, my city of Mobile, Alabama. I hope everybody having a great weekend. Hope everybody having a great day. Hope you be able to reach your goals, master the things you want to master, and things like that. Because we got 24 hours within the day, and what you're doing within them 24 hours, either you're going to be a success or you're going to be a failure. So I encourage everybody, man, to get on your grind, get in your game. Whatever your gifting is, whatever your calling is, get into it. It's time to go to work. And I have a special guest. He's a Mobile native. He now resides in Atlanta, Georgia area. He's one of the pioneers when it comes to the music here in the city of Mobile. He's an entrepreneur, businessman, mogul, you name it. I want to bring in Mr. Elijah McCreary. Elijah McCreary, welcome to Impact Voice.
What's going on, Furman? How you doing?
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for taking out time to your busy schedule, man, to be a part of the broadcast. I know you're a busy man. We're finna get into the interview. I know you're doing great things from Mobile all the way to Atlanta, and you still in the movie, still grinding. So that's just up. And I want to ask, my first question is, who is Elijah McCreary II?
Elijah McCreary Jr. Of course, I put second up there to make it sound a little bit more flamboyant. But Junior, just you already know, like it has to be a senior somewhere. So I'm a descendant of my pops, of course. We are very talented people, from music to art to design in itself. So if I had to answer that question in its totality, I would say that I'm just a servant.
And that's awesome, right there. There's just that one word, servant, humble servant, and
yes, sir.
That's what
yes,
God
sir.
calls to be. And my next question is, I know you're a fashion. I know you've been doing it for quite a few years now. So what motivates you getting into the fashion game?
I saw a drought. I felt like it was something that I had to offer, which is just a way of creating something that was a bridge between Christianity and something that was dope, relevant, using hip hop as a platform to kind of, push clothing. And I saw that it wasn't really anyone doing it in that fashion.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome. And my next question is, I know you've done a documentary, and the title of the documentary is titled Drenched in Black. What was the message behind the documentary for those who may not have seen the documentary or the first time hearing it?
Drenched in Black was my way of paying homage to Black History Month as well as the culture in itself. I wanted to do something that was unique. So what I did was I contacted 13 incredible Black women, and we had a conversation about, some similarities and differences as far as struggle and successes. And I wanted to see if we can, find a medium and just kind of having a contrast between the two and just find a medium that, we all was going through the same thing, whether it's, our joys or our pains. So I just wanted to be able to explore that. So if anyone had a chance to check out the documentary, it's on YouTube right now. It's called Drenched in Black. You have to make sure you put the N in the middle. So it's Drenched in Black from unuluxe.
Awesome. Like I said, a man of many talents, a man of many trades, and you're still being innovative, especially being from Mobile. Right. And I tell everybody all the time, Mobile got gifted men and women, all around. And
right.
My next question is, what do you think about generational wealth? Do you think that's important?
Absolutely. I guess my biggest thing about generational wealth is first we have to have generational knowledge. That's the thing. We trying to find the connect to how to get that wealth. And I think as far as leaving a legacy for that, we have to figure it out in our lifetime before we can even pass it down to our kids. Because like I said, it's a knowledge thing first. It's not necessarily the wealth that's as important as the knowledge, because if you have the knowledge, then you can always obtain wealth.
That's true, and I agree with that, because the Bible said, Proverbs speaks about good men leaving inheritance for his children. And I know not just talking from a material or spiritual aspect as well, also to pass on to that next generation, because we know that God deals with generations, and He'll require us to teach the generation behind us that can be ongoing. And do you think that's a myth in the Black community? Because drifting in that, I know within the Black community today, we have a lot of single parents, mothers, and they don't know anything about it. Or what can we do we see the problem, but what can we do to bring the solution to the problem?
Research. A lot of the answers are in books, and I don't want that to sound so simple. So let me say it this way. Like I was talking to my wife last night, and we was discussing how, I don't know if you ever seen that interview with Kanye West and Sway in the Morning, and he was just he was frustrated because he was talking about he couldn't find a way to get into the fashion industry because they wouldn't let him in. So he kept saying, "How, Sway?" Remember that video, that interview? He was like, "How?" You know what I mean? And then I saw an interview of Dapper Dan recently, and Dapper Dan was saying that in order for us to get into the clothing industry as a whole, so we can be, I guess, project in a way where we're global, we have to work for these. We have to work for these fashion houses. So to go into Gucci as a partner, or to go into Louis Vuitton as a designer or a creative director, just getting into those fashion houses and learning the infrastructure, and then going in so we can be able to have that information so we can build our own. So I'm just using that as an example of how I think that we can change in the Black community. It's like we have to go in and get the knowledge so we can come out and build our own. This is the reason why there is no Black brands that are luxury brands, because we hadn't really followed the pattern of how luxury brands distribute on the outside. So I guess the biggest thing there is just to get the information and to be able to execute that information. This is how we not only give generational knowledge, we also give generational wealth, because we know that the more knowledge you obtain, then the wealth will follow. I mean, that's biblical as well.
True. Oh, yeah, that's true. I agree with that 100%. Solomon asked God for what wisdom, and everything else came along with him. Solomon was the most wisest man in the earth. And I know I was listening to Master P. He was talking about that generational wealth, having our own, because he's saying he think it's a select few Black-owned, filmmakers, things like that. And I know you did documentaries, so do you see yourself doing any more films in the near future?
That's a good question. I kind of stumbled on that documentary because my biggest thing was brand expansion. So what I did was everybody in that documentary had on the unuluxe apparel, of course. So what I was trying to do was trying to use the platform of what we talked about with the Black struggles and successes, and then kind of like catapult the brand. So I kind of stumbled on, ended up being not really self-proclaimed, but proclaimed by the news, a filmmaker. And the more I kept looking at that title, I was like, maybe I should consider doing other films, because it was pretty good for my first go-around. You know what I mean? But so to answer your question, absolutely. I plan on doing something similar in Atlanta, and hopefully I can pitch it to someone big like Tyler Perry or someone, you know what I mean, while I'm out here.
Yeah. That's what's up. And like I said, I know you're a man on a mission. I know, of course, you're a God-fearing man, a praying man. And I've studying through the years since you was here. Now you're in transition to Atlanta. I know you constantly busy. And my next question is, do you have any new projects in the works?
Absolutely. My biggest concern is now. You say you've been following me. How long have we been following each other? Actually, that's a good question.
It's mid 2000s. It's been some years.
Mid
I want to say
2000s.
mid 2000s. Yeah.
You kind of remember me from the Godchild days as well. when
Yeah, I
used to
do.
Godchild.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah. So let's use that as an example of what I have coming in store in the future. I transitioned from gospel rap music to just trying to brand that same label. I don't bringing up the Godchild thing. I basically wanted to introduce gospel hip hop in a fashion where everybody could relate to it. But what I was doing was I found that everybody couldn't really relate to it. You'll go to certain churches and you'll perform and you'll only see the kids moving and you couldn't see, how the elders would relate to that method of music. So what I was trying to do with the unuluxe brand was to incorporate the two. So if you look at my brand, you'll see a lion with the crown, a monocle, and a bow tie. So the crown represents wisdom because no king could wear a crown without wisdom. The monocle represents vision, like a third eye, pretty much. So basically, like when someone says, "I can walk in faith," anytime you walk in faith, you have to see in a way nobody else can see, right? So this is the reason that the lion wears the monocle. Then you have the bow tie, and in the Bible, it always talks about walking in dignity and walking like Christ-like. So when you see a man, normally when you see a man with a bow tie, you almost think that he's going somewhere, like he's going to some type of big event, or he's going somewhere. He's very dressed up. So that bow tie just kind of represents dignity, or you're going to another level. So we're putting all of these. How do you say? We're putting all of these things on this lion, and I wanted to make sure that all these things represent a God-like image. So when you say king of the jungle, or you say king, period, you think of a lion. But our lion represents the kingdom as a whole. So basically, instead of me doing the whole Christian thing and saying, this is, a brand with a cross on it, or a brand with a person raising their hands, I just use the lion so we can be able to have a conversation with people where we can, introduce them or baby step them into a Christ-like way of life without blatantly saying it. So that lion is a metaphor. It's a metaphor just to be Christ-like. It's a metaphor to be kingdom-minded and to represent the king as a whole. So hopefully, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Hopefully, that kind of gets you in a mindset of where we're going to take it to next, because basically what we're trying to do is getting in. Hence the reason. This is the reason why I moved from Mobile to Atlanta. I moved from Mobile to Atlanta to expand the brand and to get it to more people, so we can kind of like introduce them into a brand or a lifestyle of clothing that represents kingdom-minded people. So
I love that.
Where we at?
I love it. Oh, I love that concept, and just taking it the way you is, that's a blessing, because I know here and I know the mid 2000s, I know the gospel rap music was big here in Mobile, and just taking it transitioning from that to reaching everyone, because I see artists, mainstream artists like Manny Fresh from Cash Money, he had one of your shirts on. I think another guy, I think on VH1 had your brand on. So it's transition.
Absolutely.
And what can you tell other people like that? Because when you see small-minded, religion-minded people, they always say, "Oh, you backslid," or "You going out to the world," which they never understand that. But Paul said, "I became all things to all men that they might be saved." What would you say to that?
I would say one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And the main part that sticks out to me the most is be transformed by the renew. And you can break that word up and you can see re and then you'll see new. Re means to reoccur over and over. New means brand new, fresh. So when I think of that as a whole, I'm always going into every situation being a human first and then having a new experience second, and then to be God-like third. And I say third because I think God always wants us to have that experience of figuring it out first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to people, thinking that maybe you're not saying God and Jesus blatantly, that you're not as Christian minded or you have backslidden. I just think that's just one perspective. Humans are so diverse. They are so like on one end of the spectrum, you can be like you can be a web developer, or but that same web developer can play basketball real good, and that same basketball player can be a therapist. It's like you can't box the human being in. So with that being said, if you can be every facet. So I remember in school they used to teach us, they used to say, you can be anything you put your mind to. But they never taught us that you can be everything you put your mind to. That's the key. The key is you can unlock every door. Like whatever you want to be, and you think about it real hard, you can, and you start practicing on that craft, then you can master that craft. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So, like you said, I'm doing the documentary. I have a clothing line. I also do music, videography. I do web development. I do graphic design. I try to master all of these areas, but I don't want you to look at it like I'm trying to do everything. Just look at it like Elijah McCreary Jr. is a creative. And when you're a creative, you can create at any given time or anything. Like I know you went from, doing the music thing to, doing a radio show now. Like all you have to do is set your mind to it, and you can do everything you think about. You know what I mean? Not anything. You can do everything. And I just truly believe that more than anything.
Oh, that's true. I'm with you 100% because we are creative beings because our Heavenly Father, if you remember the scripture, God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness and let them have dominion. That means God we create too. And we can't create anything, like you said, our mind to. And a lot of people need to hear that. And my next question is, I know you're a man that likes to inspire others. I read a lot of your posts. They're very inspiring, very, very motivational. Right. So who inspired you to become the man that you is today?
Honestly, I don't really have a number one person. Of course, God inspires me because without him, I'm nothing. I really truly believe that. Like, I can't function without God in my life. But let me not be so cliche and say just God. I'm inspired by what I don't have. I'm inspired by the things that happen to me that are bad. And what I want to do is create that better for my kids, and I want to be able to create that better for the world as well. So in a sense, my experiences inspire me. Like the things that I go through, the mishaps, the misfortunes, like I said, the things that's not so good, they inspire me the most because I feel like I have a short period of time on this earth, and I need to accomplish every single thing that God said that I need to accomplish in this lifetime. Hence the reason why I say, like, I think that's the best way of putting it. The best way of putting it is I just feel like that's it. Like God gives us a certain amount of time to do a task, and we just need to complete it in a certain time because I don't feel like we have forever as everybody think we do. I think about Nipsey Hussle and him having all these accolades after he died. Like they gave him a humanitarian award, all these awards when he died. I'm like, why didn't y'all praise him while he was doing it? You know what I mean? Like while he was here. Don't give me roses when I'm dead. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
What I'm saying
I agree.
But the real, if you think about it, and I know I'm going all over the place a little bit, but if you think about it, he was able to illuminate more when he died because he was doing so much light while he was alive. You know what I'm saying? So So I really don't look at death like he's gone. I look at it more so like he transcended. Like he went to a better place, but his energy was felt everywhere, all over the world, and that's the same legacy I want to have for myself. You know what I mean? That's the same thing that I feel like that's that's the thing that inspired me the most, is taking someone and giving them a seed or inspiration or telling them they can do everything they put their mind to, and that's how I live forever. That's how I'm, you know what I'm saying? That's how I'm immortalized.
And that's what's up. And transcending and making that moves and taking it to the next level. And like I said, no, I love Nipsey Hussle. I wish I would have known more about him when he was alive. But looking at a lot of stuff, he was very knowledgeable in what he was doing. And I encourage everybody to look up a lot of his interviews. Very intelligent brother. He knew a lot. He knew a lot about business. He's encouraged everybody to invest in different things and make that generational wealth for your children, their children. And
Right.
my next question, my last question. I know Proverbs 22:1. I'm paraphrase, hoping I'm saying that right. It talks about a good name. And it says a good name is better than riches. My question is, what legacy Elijah McCreary Jr. want others to learn from?
Great question. I want people to learn that we're all flawed. We all make mistakes. Your mistakes are not who you are, but they are time capsules in your life where you can make a mistake about something and it doesn't define who you are. It really makes you. It really propels you and makes you who you're going to be in the future. And I want to be the embodiment of that. I want to be the embodiment of, if I'm not perfect in a certain sense or in somebody's eyes, just give me a moment to kind of like, come out of that imperfection and then find a way to better myself. You know what I mean? I want to represent, human beings are just flawed individuals who are trying to figure it out, but you have to give them a moment to figure it out. It's almost like if you take a murderer and you take somebody who killed somebody, and we automatically say they're a murderer. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that murderer could be a great father. That murderer could be a great worker. That murderer can be very intelligent. They just had a moment in their life where, they did something that caused them to, change the trajectory of their entire life. And it doesn't necessarily make that person who they are. People change. People are constantly evolving, and I just want to make sure I represent evolution as a whole.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, just excelling, sky's the limit. And I know years ago, it was a men's conference here at Mount Hebron years ago, and a guy, he's a young entrepreneur. He said you should always want to die empty, because he said the richest place is the graveyard. So I encourage everybody that's listening, man, if you doing anything, man, die empty. All the gifts that God gave you here on earth. Duke, you said something earlier, Elijah, like the time, because we know our time here on earth is limited. And I think Dame Dash said, if you ever look in the middle, I think of a tombstone, you always got to remember that dash. It's a beginning, and then what you do in between that dash to the day you leave this earth.
Right.
Anything else, Elijah, that you want to share with the listeners that's listening? Anything that God put in your heart to share with the listeners?
I'll say this. For the creatives out there, for the business owners out there, for the entrepreneurs or the entrepreneur spirit, everything that you think you are, you are. Like, every single thing that you think you are, you are. Meaning that God is going to give a seed to what your purpose is, and when He gives you that seed, you must practice. You must water it. You must attack that seed as if it's going to be a tree one day. Because a lot of the times, like you see it on social media, where somebody's like, I'm a lash technician, or I'm a hairstylist, or I'm a rapper, or whatever. If that's what God is calling you to be, then do everything in your power to focus on that and execute. I'm big on that. I'm big on having a thought for something, and my next step is execution. A lot of the people don't know the keys to life. The keys to life is think about what you want to be, how you're going to be, and then be it. But a lot of times people get caught up into the third step, which is how to be it. But if you just live long enough and experience a lot of things and don't be scared to step out of your comfort zone, then that answer will just fall into your lap. So just stay encouraged, stay motivated, execute daily, keep grinding.
And that's what's up. And that's all you have to do. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, those who's listening. Take heed to what's said today. That's why we have Impact was, interviewing impactful people who's making an impact on our generation. And I thank you, my brother, for being inspiration, allowing God to use you in this time, in this season, to motivate others, especially here in our hometown, the city of Mobile, that shows that all things are possible. Just because we come from Mobile, you can make it. And look how God will take you far beyond. I just thinking about when he told Abraham, leave everything and go leave, your family, everything, and go to the land that I will show you. Just think about if Abraham didn't listen to God, when God just gave him the direction, say, hey, leave here and go there. What would you say to a person who God may be pushing them to the next level? If I made myself clear on that one.
You did. Fear nothing. Only fear is fear itself. So, but fear nothing. My move from Mobile to Atlanta is just the first baby step, because I dream constantly of taking over the world and taking the world by storm and being a light to people in places that I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I wake up hearing the same message from God, and it's 2 simple letters and 1 word, and it's go. That's it. Like, he tells me to go every morning. So I have no idea how it's going to unfold. I don't focus on the how. I just know I got to keep staying in motion. The how is going to fill itself in on its own. The house, like you said, Dame Dash was talking about the dash in between the born time and the time you pass. That dash represents the how. Like, it's a question mark. just go, and then God will do the next step.
That's true. We got 2 minutes left on the broadcast, and a lot. I thank you for taking time out once again to be a part of it. I know a lot of times people say, "Man, thank you for the opportunity." I would say, "Thank you for the opportunity." That means a lot to me because you didn't have to do it. You did because you wanted to. That means a lot to me. For
Absolutely.
it. We got a minute left. Do you have any final remarks?
Okay. My final remarks is go check me out, www.unuluxe.com. That's spelled UNULUXE. And just see what I'm doing and see what I'm trying to do, because we're trying to be the first luxury brand outside of Mobile, and we're building from the ground up. We need your support. And if y'all want to follow me on follow me on Instagram at JBillionaire, JAE Billionaire, and follow our Unuluxe page at Unuluxe on Instagram and Facebook as well.
And that's what's up, my brother. Keep doing what you're doing. I did buy one of your shirts, which I did post it on my Facebook page because I'm a man of my word. I said I'm going to buy one, I'm about one. And I do appreciate it. And I encourage those who's listening. And it would be a offense to anybody. You got businessmen like Elijah and all the other guys, man, pay for their services. Don't look for freebies. Pay for their service. You got the money, pay for it. They put their own money into their brands. So you got the money, pay for it. I ain't just talking about it. I'm actually living it, because I bought a shirt from this brother on his store online. I ordered it, I think, Friday, Saturday morning, and it came in the mail this week. So pay for these guys' services.
Right. And it's a very quality shirt. It's nice. I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you support it. I appreciate your support, bro.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to order some more shirts from you as well, because I love the brand. I love the luxury. I love what it stands for, a kingdom. So y'all have a great night, great evening, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walking his ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed.